Welcome to Beyond the Competition, the SAE University Programs podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Mike Sawyer, the podcast and media specialist here with the SAE University Programs, back with another great one. I'm going to be talking about AWIM, A World in Motion today. And of course, we have with me my wonderful co-host, ready to rock and roll here, Scott Schultz of the CDS Action News and SAE Media.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Mike? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. A little tired. My nose was bleeding, but I would do anything for this podcast.
Are you ready to get educated?
I'm excited because this is we're interviewing literally my favorite coworker.
Oh, fantastic. We just discovered that on the pre-interview too, right?
I knew this for a while.
Who are we talking to today, Scott?
Well, why don't you introduce her?
We're talking to Emma Akouri, the Education Program Specialist with SAE International. How are you doing today, Emma?
I'm doing good. How are you? No nosebleeds on your end?
No. This is a high elevation podcast, apparently in the Pittsburgh area. We're on top of a mountain, so you know how it is here.
It is kind of high elevation.
You saw the hill when you're going up, right? Yeah. So, anyways, Scott, you like to kick off with a special question.
Yeah, we like to get weird to start things off. Emma, are you ready to get weird with us?
I'm ready.
Would you eat worms if they tasted like your favorite food? And you can't eat your favorite food ever again, though. If you want to taste your favorite food, it has to be those worms.
I'm a big texture person, and I don't think I could get past the texture. Not about flavor. Even if the flavor is really good, if I don't like the texture of something, it's not happening.
Okay, that's a good call. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food, well, my family is Lebanese, so it's a Lebanese dish called grape leaves, and it's rice and meat rolled up in a leaf, cooked in lemon and butter. Absolutely delicious. You can get it at restaurants, but it's not going to be as good as my grandma's. So.
Okay, and what's your grandma's address?
Well, I should know my grandma's address, but I don't. Somewhere in Michigan.
Well, if you did know it, you should not tell us anyway.
That's very true.
Yeah, you're gonna have everybody showing up from Formula here in the spring.
Hey, we know Emma. Heard you make really good grape leaves.
That's right.
She would bake them. She loves cooking.
Okay, well maybe you do drop that address then.
Mm-hmm. First of all, as we mentioned AWIM, A World in Motion. For those that are informed on this, that listen to this podcast, what is AWIM?
Yeah, so AWIM is one of our STEM curriculum challenges. It's not one of them. There's 21 different ones. It spans all the way from pre-K through 12th grade. We are about to launch a new high school challenge, but currently all of our available challenges are pre-K through 8th grade. It's meant to be used with schools and students, after school programs like the Boys and Girls Club, really anything where children are at. We have companies that use it at bring their kids to work day. We've used it at SAE's Bring Your Kid to Work Day. Anywhere where kids are involved who are curious and have excitement about STEM, they can use AWIM. It is full inquiry-based, hands-on learning opportunity for students. It's not a full year start to year end academic curriculum, but it's a short challenges just depending on the standards that you're looking to teach. We have one that's a jet toy where students build a little toy chassis with a balloon and they race it. We have a pinball designer. We have a gravity cruiser. We have a ton of different ones. But they typically last in classrooms like 2 to 3 weeks if they teach it every single day. It's super, super flexible, but it is a STEM opportunity for students.
What do you like most about working in AWIM?
Well, my former job before A World in Motion and before SAE, I was a second grade teacher. I taught second grade for 3 years. So my heart is in education. I love children and I love the idea of learning. So being super, super close with education is something that I really, really love about working with AWIM. It's one of those things when I was interviewing for the position, I thought, shoot, maybe I should teach one more year so that I could use this in my classroom. Because it's such a great opportunity I really, really love my coworkers. I mean, everyone on the AWIM team is so passionate about education and so passionate about children and the work that we do. But I think my absolute favorite thing about working with AWIM is when I get to go into classrooms where students are using it and seeing that aha moment and just seeing them excited and engaged. Because again, knowing what it's like to be in the classroom, it's not that often that students are really engaged and excited about things. So every time I walk into an AWIM classroom, that's how it is. The students are excited, ready to be there, and just super curious, which is always really cool.
How'd you leave teaching and start at SAE?
That's a really great question. I actually started teaching during my first year of teaching was 2020 during the pandemic. So it was kind of very chaotic. And there was just a lot of, I think, change that was happening within education, and I wanted to make as much difference as I could and as much impact as I could. And when I was looking for jobs outside of teaching, I wanted to look for something that was education adjacent, and I knew the impact that I could make here would be more widespread than maybe what was just happening inside one isolated classroom.
Yeah, starting in 2020 is a tough year to start teaching.
Yeah. My student teaching was canceled because of the pandemic. My first day of teaching ever was on Zoom, and that first year was just absolutely crazy. So there was, it was definitely not what I was expecting. No one was expecting the pandemic. So then once everything changed, it was very difficult to see how things would get back pre-pandemic, because the pandemic really changed things.
Yeah, it's not what you signed up for.
Yes, very much so.
I love the idea that like you start in the pandemic where you could not be hands-on things to be doing projects like you mentioned, the jet toy and things like that are very, very hands-on.
Yeah. And that was definitely something that I really enjoyed about AWIM and this job and this opportunity, was knowing how little opportunities there are in the classroom to be hands-on and to be creative. Everything is so assessment based, and you want to make sure that your students are hitting all their marks, so there's not a lot of wiggle room for creativity and exploration. But the great thing about AWIM is that it connects to the standards and it connects with what the kids are learning. It's almost a little bit like when parents will sneak broccoli into their kids' meals and the kids have no idea. That's kind of what AWIM is. They don't really think that they're learning, but they're actually learning a ton.
I think you partially answered this question, but tell me a little bit more about how does AWIM integrate that STEM learning into those real world applications?
Yeah, so one of the greatest things about AWIM is that we have taken the engineering design process and kind of made our own little spin on it called the engineering design experience. And so there's, those 5 steps that students are going to go through. And one of the big things that we do is every one of our challenges starts off with a goal setting and kind of like a request from a proposal from a fictitious toy company, a publishing company, asking the students to get engaged to help solve a problem. So very similar to the real world where there's a problem that you're trying to solve. So it really grabs and brings kids in. And then it also, obviously when you leave a typical K-12 education and then you go into higher ed or you go into a job, you're kind of thrown to the wolves. You have to, learn how to work on a team and work on communication and project management. But what AWIM does is it allows students to practice those like 21st century skills of, communication, project management, all of that in a safe environment, in a classroom where, if things go wrong, they get to come back the next day and it's okay. They're not going to be kicked out of their second grade classroom. They get to practice those skills in a safe environment, which is super, super important and integral to kids learning.
Do industry professionals play a role in the AWIM program?
Yes, they do. So AWIM, we partner really, really closely with the SAE Foundation. So when we get an opportunity to connect with a big donating partner, there are volunteering opportunities for industry professionals to come into classrooms and volunteer. Now that could be on every single day AWIM is taught. They could have a rotation. It really just depends on the teacher schedule, the volunteering schedule. But for example, we've integrated into Pontiac Public Schools and have a community-based approach with industry volunteers from all around the community, from GM to, Borg Warner, all of these different community partners that bring AWIM into those classrooms, and those volunteers get to come in and work with the students and kind of get a little bit of a break from their daily 9 to 5 into a classroom. And the students also get a little bit of a break from their regular teacher. They have industry volunteers coming in. We always say that AWIM is teacher-led, volunteer-assisted. We would never want a volunteer to just kind of like go in and be thrown to the wolves and expected to be, the teacher, but they get to go in and kind of help the students as they're working in their teams and give them, more community ties. Students get to learn a little bit more about, the different types of engineers there are. And it's not just engineers that are going into classrooms. Sometimes it's a secretary from the company. Sometimes it's someone from HR. So it's giving them an opportunity to learn about different professions as well.
So we've heard about this. We've mentioned this a bit across the podcast and the news items over the last several years for the students in the CDS programs. But can you tell me about the Learn Twice program and how it complements the AWIM?
Yeah, so Learn Twice is a really, really great opportunity and something that I get excited about when any university program team learns about and hears about, because it is a win-win for everyone involved. So essentially what the program is a team will connect with a local school, a local, program, anything that has students involved, and they will try to see if the program or school or whatnot is interested in AWIM. And when they find a teacher that is interested, all that team has to do is then log on to their, CDS webpage, register for Learn Twice, and volunteer for up to 30 hours. Now, the great thing about this volunteering opportunity, recognizing that time and the time for the volunteer from the university teams and the teacher, there's not a lot of time built into schedules that will connect. So they need to get a collective 30 hours. Now that 30 hours can be stacked. So let's say 2 university team members go in and volunteer for 4 hours. That would be a collection of 8 hours because it's 30 hours that are comprised of individual volunteering hours, if that makes sense. Now, once they get that total 30 hours, that team is then eligible for a $2,500 stipend that is, there for their competition season expenses. They get to use it at their discretion for the competition season, whatever they need. And then the really great thing is the AWIM kits that are used in the classroom through Learn Twice are provided for the teacher free of charge. We also have an opportunity for the university students and the teachers to have a training. It's like a 30-minute virtual training with me or maybe one of my other coworkers, depending on my schedule, to go over the program and how to integrate it into the classroom. Now, a lot of times people don't opt into that training, but it's always an option. They have access to me if they have any questions with that AWIM implementation.
Do a lot of teams sign up for that?
So it's not as many teams as I would hope. Last year we had a total of 25 teams complete the cycle of Learn Twice. A lot of times we'll have teams register for it and then they'll get the kits and then they never complete their 30 hours. So then they don't get that $2,500 stipend. But knowing all the university program teams out there, 25 is a really, really small number. And it's really pretty easy to get 30 hours of volunteering and then $2,500 for expenses for the team. So not, in my opinion, not enough CDS teams know about it. However, the teams that are involved in it they repeat it year after year after year. Now they're only eligible for one stipend per competition season. But in my opinion, it seems pretty easy to get $2,500 for your team.
That's what I was thinking. It's too good of a deal to not do it.
Yeah, it's scary easy how great of an opportunity this is. So the more teams that want to do it, just reach out to me and I am more than willing to help them get set up with it.
And how would they reach out to you since they will be listening to this podcast?
Wonderful. They can reach out to me at our AWIM email, which is just awim, AWIM, @SAE.org.
All right, you hear that, teams? Get out there, volunteer, get that cash money. Come on now. What are the benefits of peer-to-peer mentorship in the STEM education?
So there are endless benefits. There's so much research out there that shows that when you have a outside person come into the classroom and volunteer and engage in AWIM, the positive outcomes of student engagement, student understanding of the material, teacher understanding of the material, like compound and get an exponentially increase the moment you have a volunteer in that AWIM classroom. Now, also from my perspective, students get tired of seeing their teacher every single day. They, as much as they might love their teacher, they get really excited when someone else walks into that door, and they tend to just be a little bit more on their game. So it's a really great opportunity for students to be more involved. And then there's also a little bit of a mentorship kind of opportunity. Now, when you have university teams come in and students come in, you might have a little girl in second grade, third grade who, is really intrigued into engineering, but doesn't think that, she would be able to go into it. And then when a university team member walks in who's a girl who looks like them or, looks like her, they're like, oh, shoot, I can do this. I can get involved. This is super easy. So it's an opportunity for students to see that they can do what they're excited about, what they can put their minds to. So it's a really great opportunity through and through. I'm sure for university students or any other industry volunteer, it's also a great change of pace in their day-to-day to, get involved with kids. And kids are funny. They say funny things. They make you laugh. And I think it's just a really great opportunity.
What are some of the funny things you hear these kids say?
I mean, working with second graders, they were really brutally honest. There was a lot of times where my students would tell me, oh, Miss Akouri, your outfit looks really great today, but like when you take the jacket off, it doesn't really look that great. I'm like, you're 7. What are you talking about? Why am I getting roasted by a 7-year-old right now? This is really, really hurtful. Or, kids would look at you and be like, well, like, oh, I miss my parents. I miss this. And I'd be like, it's okay. I miss my mom too. And they look at you. They're like, yeah, but you're an adult. You shouldn't miss your mom. That's embarrassing. I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to make you feel better. What do you mean? So it's really just a lot of getting humbled by children. But I'm the type of person, I think it's really funny.
We talked about it a little bit, but like how else do you see like these K-12 students, respond to learning from college mentors compared to the traditional classroom teaching,
Yeah, no, that's a great question. For example, this last summer, I was involved in SAE's Bring Your Kid to Work Day. And so a local university team, Grove City, actually came and volunteered and helped me and my coworker run the jet toy activity. And the students were super excited when they realized that these college students who were building, a Baja car were coming and looking at their little jet toy that they were racing, and they were so excited and they were just happy. And maybe that was a byproduct of coming to work with their parents, but they were asking these university teams questions and getting help with them on building their little jet toy, and getting into the nitty gritty. Typically jet toy is, we say it's meant for classrooms 4th grade to 6th grade, but you had like little kindergarten kids building these jet toys and understanding it because these university teams were coming in, or Grove City was coming in and helping them learn about it. And then when they got to go outside and look at Grove City's, team's car that they had built, and they got to like go inside of it. It was the same thing at the annual celebration. I can't remember what team was there, but they brought their, Baja car, and the little kids got to go inside, and they were like mesmerized that just maybe kids 10 years older than them were building these things and competing with them. And so it's one of those, opportunities for kids to look and realize, oh my gosh, I have so much potential for growth. I have so much excitement, and maybe this is something that I want to do when I go to college.
I was there for that day with Grove City with you guys, and that was really cool to kind of see that. And I'm always appreciate like watching, like they were excited to be there for it, and like they didn't know what to do at first, and one just sat down with a kit and just started building one, and then the kids started coming over and stuff, right?
I think sometimes there's a little bit of a hesitation, especially when you're not used to working with kids. People, or if you don't have kids on your own, people get a little bit intimidated of like how to truly interact with a child, but it is so simple as just sitting down and asking them like, what are you doing? Or tell me more about what you've built. And then all of a sudden there's like the floodgates are open, and then this kid is like attached to your head because you just asked them a simple question.
another time that I thought was special, the first time that I think I was exposed to AWIM was, I think, the one of the first auto drive challenge workshops that happened at SAE headquarters, and they had the students that were there for the workshops, and the sponsors actually started building the cars and raced them, and got really competitive too. So, and this is like sponsors from likely General Motors and all the supply partners at Auto Drive. So it was really cool to kind of see like the adults and all having fun with this thing that is obviously built for like you said, like fourth graders, right? So.
Yeah. Well, and that's how it is when we get the opportunity to do in-person training with teachers. And that typically happens when it's like a larger initiative, when we're not doing just maybe in a classroom in a district, we're doing it across a whole district or across a whole grade level. The teachers get super competitive about whatever, we're training them on. If that's, a little parachute from Engineering Inspired by Nature, if that's their gravity cruiser, or if that's their glider or jet toy, they get into it. And let me tell you, as a former teacher, when you would sit and be involved in curriculum training, it is boring. It is not hands-on. It is like sitting down in a college lecture. You're like, okay, when can I get out of here? But when you were hands-on building it and then competing with your coworkers, you were like, I am going to win this. I don't care if I'm way past my hours. I don't care if I want to just go home and sit in my pajamas. I'm going to win, and then I'm going to go and sit in my pajamas.
You want to sit in your pajamas as a champion.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do schools, educators, and parents get involved in AWIM?
Great question. There's a lot of different ways for people to get involved. As I had mentioned, we connect really, really closely with the SAE Foundation. So sometimes there's funding in different areas, and either the company or me and one of my coworkers will reach out to schools, and we have the ability to bring our AWIM kits to schools for free, which is always my favorite thing, when I get to reach out to teachers and say, do you want this for free? We'll give it to you. No questions asked. Just, enjoy it with your students. So that's one way to get involved. We reach out to you or they reach out to you. Our kits are also available for purchase on our website. But it's really just a matter of looking at our website, reaching out to that same email that I had mentioned. Sometimes teachers will reach out to us and they want to buy a kit and they're ready to purchase it. And then we're like, oh no, we actually have funding in your area. So then it's like, oh, a free, exciting surprise for that teacher. So really just reaching out to awim@sae.org and kind of asking a question. As I had said, like a little kid, ask me and my coworkers a question, and we are going to geek out about AWIM probably way more than you care to hear about.
So are there any new initiatives or expansion plans for the AWIM program?
Yeah, so we have focused this last year on really complementing EV technology. And me and my coworker the last year and a half developed our newest AWIM challenge. It's called Powered Up, which is it's a suite of electric vehicle challenges meant to be in a high school space. So there's 3 challenges that kind of fall into Powered Up. There's Ramp Up, which is meant to be in a physics classroom, Charge Up in a chemistry classroom, and then Measure Up, which is meant to be in a math or statistics class. Now, the great thing about this Powered Up suite of challenges is that they don't need to all be taught. They are separate of one another. They just all kind of connect. And if teachers wanted to, they could all teach it at the same time, or just one physics teacher could just get the physics Ramp Up challenge. It's meant to be kind of interdisciplinary. We also really worked very closely with the SAE Detroit section with their micro electric vehicle competition, the MEV competition, and recognizing all the hard work that they put into it. We kind of wanted to create a challenge that could help a teacher potentially get involved into that MEV competition. So the Ramp Up, the physics portion, is meant to help a teacher who is excited about that and wants to get into it, and then could bring, a basic level car or group of students to that competition. We're also currently working on developing an EV elementary challenge. The name is still in the works, so I don't have a name for that one, but that is also in the works.
You called EV elementary.
Yeah, EV elementary. That's a good idea. So I'll let Bonnie know.
Okay.
We're all about brainstorming.
Also, if I could get an email when she declines it, that'd be great.
I'll make sure to forward it to you.
No, that was a stupid idea. And then, can you just tell us one more time how college students can participate in the Learn Twice program?
Yes, it's super, super simple. 1, connect with a local school or program that wants to use AWIM. 2, be registered for a current competition season. You need your invoice number for registration. And then 3, log into your CDS, if that's your Baja, Formula, Clean Snowmobile website. One of the little bullet points, it's towards the bottom, is called Learn Twice. Click on that, enter your invoice number, register your team's information. Please, please, please register your school, your AWIM school that you're working with, the teacher name, email, shipping address, which kit they're using. Because if you don't, I have to reject that application and then you just have to reapply. So please make sure that you register with that information. That also allows teachers to verify the hours that you volunteered. And then that's it. And then you just volunteer and fill out a form after your 30 hours, and then you get your $2,500.
Too easy. Do you have a suggestion on how they can find a school or classroom to help out with?
Yes. So one way, if you have an education program, if there's undergrads that are education majors in your university, connect with them. They already have ties with local schools and organizations. Also, reach out to the I know there's professors that help with each university team. Reach out to them, see if they have any kids or if they know anyone that have kids in the area, and you could get into a school that they're working at. There are lots and lots and lots of ties with K-12 organizations, with universities. So just ask around. It's pretty simple. And if there's no connections that just look at simple Google search elementary schools near me and reach out to the principals, send them an email.
Well, Emma, thank you so much for this great conversation here about AWIM. I'm hoping this helps a lot of people kind of understand and get excited about it. So hopefully, you can get the kids excited about it somewhere in their neck of the woods as well.
I'll tell you, I'm excited.
You're excited about it? You're ready to make a jet toy? Have you made a jet toy?
I have not.
This is the big one that I've seen, is the jet toy in person.
What are you doing? It's so simple. And then you're just going to be sitting at your desk, trying to race your jet toy.
I'm gonna go on the website and buy one.
There you go.
There you go.
It's that easy. And then I expect a check for $2,500 though.
I'm not sure if I can guarantee that, but if you connect your name to a CDS team, then maybe I could get you that.
Okay, a little give back.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. School of your choice, Scott.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emma. It's great to see what's going on here, and like I said, it's been a lot of fun to see the Grove City kids. I was there for that, to see them get involved in everything. So, and of course, there's footage that's going to be through this if you're on the video version of this show. And excellent. So awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for hanging out with us here too.
Thanks for having me, Mike. I'm so glad you were able to set this up for everybody.
Have you here on your podcast?
Yes.
And then guys, we're leading in here. The first competitions are rolling out here within the month with even past this very close with the Clean Snowmobile. So I hope you guys are all ready for that and going to be doing great out there. Thank you, everybody. This has been this month's show. Stay tuned. Make sure you're stay tuned to this feed. You'll get the CDS action news and so much more as we get into competition.
Comment.
Subscribe, comment. Follow us on the Instagram, on the TikTok, which I think you're allowed to download from the App Store now as of this recording. And
follow us on Instagram anyway.
At SAE _.
Email AWIM.
SAE.
Email me. I just want to chat. I just want to hang out with you guys. Let's
there
party.
You go. Oh, is AWIM on the social medias as well? Should we telling them to follow you there?
Not yet. Not
Hopefully. Yet.
Well,
there you go.
It's gonna be nuts.
Stay tuned for that. I'm sure we'll share whenever that goes down, right? Yeah. So make sure you let Scott know so we can get it out to the University Programs kids out there too. So,
and then we're just hanging out, emailing Big Chain.
That's right.
We hit up some college parties probably.
What? Hey, college parties with jet toys I think would be pretty good, actually. Now
Scott starts hosting his own backdoor jet toy competition.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Backyard AWIM. Let's go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Looking forward to see everybody out there in the competitions and everything. Keep an eye out for the orange shirts so we can interview you guys. If you got anything you want to talk about, to get in there, talk with Scott himself at these competitions.
Let's chat. Obviously, I'm desperate for friends. Have not been listening for the last 30 seconds.
Yes, I mean, and the friends out there interviewing him have taught him so much between bucket hats and mustaches. Thank you so much. And until next time, stay safe out there. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Competition, the SAE University Programs podcast. Show notes for this episode can be found at beyondthecompetition.fireside.fm. Remember to stay tuned for updates on your competition's newsfeed or app, and follow SAE_University Programs on TikTok and Instagram. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next episode.